with Mr. and Mrs. Wesley and
Okay.
Kathy Jones, and I'm Hillary Richardson, and Kelly Nelson is also here. It is May 24th, and let's get started. So if you would start at the beginning and just tell us a little bit about where you grew up, when you were born, that sort of thing. Just your background, who you are and what makes you that way.
Um, well, I was born here in Starkville, Mississippi, and my parents came here from Claiborne County, which is Port Gibson, around Port Gibson.
Claiborne?
And my mother was in that area too, so that's my parents. But I've been here most of my life, except for going to the military and stuff like that. Once I came back, finished my military career, I came back home and I started really getting involved with my father and his stuff, trying to get him to do something, because he was always wanting to do something different. And we had a shoe repair shop. I went in with him and my brother, and my brother decided he wanted to get out, and I continued on with the business up to the time that we closed it, which is not too long ago. That was what?
April 30, 2014.
Yeah.
It was over for 74 years. It was started in 1940. He was born March 29, 1947.
So you guys are open for 74 years.
Right.
Were you always in the same place, or did you have locations?
No, he started down, I think, I was small then. I can't hardly remember what street it was now. It was Ferdinand Barris had the man, he's dead too, but he had a tin shop down there where he made different stuff, and I think he had a little part in that, behind that or something. And but later on, my father decided he wanted a building for his own self, and he had I forgot, not Rebel Cat, but Cat's shoe department store, I think, if I'm correct. Wanted to sell some property, and he made him an offer, and then my father purchased the property, and it's been at 102 South Lafayette Street ever since I can remember.
So you said it started in the back of a tin shop?
I said, he started working back there till he got his equipment in there.
I see.
Yeah. So, far as I can remember, and a lot of the stuff that I'm forgetting now.
So
But-
for 74 years, or at least as far as you can remember, this store was on Lafayette Street,
Yeah.
downtown Starkville.
Right.
It started in 1940, and we closed in 2014.
Yeah, that's incredible.
But other than that, I don't know anything else.
When you started working in there, how old were you?
High school.
Yeah, I was in high school. I started working in there when I was in high school, and then when I finished high school, I left here and went to Ohio. I came back home, and I started. Well, no, I got drafted then, and I went in the military.
Do you remember when you got drafted?
What is it? Ooh,
Must have been in the early
it was 70s, I know that.
because he was in Vietnam.
So you went, I'm sorry.
He was in the Air Force.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you went from high school to, did you do any college before you were drafted into the military?
No,
But you went to basic training, I guess, and
right, right to basic training, and went to Vietnam.
yeah. And when you were in Vietnam, well, I guess when you came back from Vietnam, did you go right back into the shop, or?
Not right offhand. I went
You
work at.
part-time.
I worked part time with him, but I worked at Bryant Food and different places.
That's in Westport.
Westport.
Yeah. Okay. Where did you go to high school?
Henderson High on. It's on.
The one that on the heat and some.
So you were part of the group that was on the hill?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, on the hill.
On the heat.
And when did you graduate?
66.
Okay.
We graduated same time. I was in Kilmichael, but we both graduated in 1966.
Okay.
This is our 50th anniversary, by the way.
Not today,
No,
but this
mine
year.
is
School.
mine passed. Mine was May the 20th. I don't remember what day it is, but it was sometime in May.
Wow. That's right.
Yeah, mine was May the 20th. I never forget that date. May the 20th, 1966. And his was, we both graduated in 66. And both of us will be having our 50th class reunion. His is going to be here in town. My group, of course, going up, well, it's Tunica, but I think it's Roundville. We're having ours in Tunica at the casino.
Yeah, that's great.
No, I'd rather have it at the local community center, but that's it.
Yeah.
I want to be part of my 50, so I'm going where it is.
That's quite an occasion.
It is 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, a lot of our project has looked at the process of the school desegregation in Starkville. And in 66, when you graduated, they,
66.
is that right?
66.
Yeah, they would not have started that process yet, but do you remember any of the discussions leading up to that, or do you remember anything that?
I don't know. I don't know if they had a lot of, but I know in my area in Kilmichael, we were a little fragmented county schools, you know, way out in small buildings with small classes, and then in 1960, we built a big school and went to town.
In 1960?
Yeah,
Is that when you all integrated?
No, we didn't integrate till the 1970,
Okay.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
Actually 1970, and they integrated in everybody integrated in 1970 because that's when it was ordered. But we had consolidated down in Montgomery County in 1960. But I think they had some little small school, you know, like the ones that they just consolidated, but they still had those outline, Alexander, Moore High, and like that, and Maben, and Crawford, the one in Crawford. What's the name of that one? Moore High.
Moore High.
Okay. So you don't remember any of the, I guess you would have been drafted by the time the things started happening, like
Right.
protests
He
and
was
things like that.
he had
Right.
gone to the Air Force back then.
Okay. Where did you enroll in the Air Force? Did you go to the Columbus Air Force Base at all?
No.
No, I was in Ohio working at the time, and my mother and father didn't want me to go in the Army, so I volunteered and went to the Air Force, and I come back home and and worked at Bryant for a while, and then after that.
That was 78 that you went in the shop. I think that was 78.
Yeah, somewhere like that.
So, backing up, between the time that you graduated and the time that you were in Vietnam, there were a lot of protests of businesses in downtown Starkville where your shop would have been.
Right.
Did you hear any stories about that through your family, or?
I remember a little bit. I came from Marion Homes to Mississippi State in 1968,
Okay.
and I do remember one thing. Now this might have been 60, 69. I'm almost positive that it was 69, that they had a boycott
Mm-hmm.
of the downtown businesses. The reason I remember is because the department store where you know we shop, it was Cato's at the time, you know, and I worked at the time it was the school, in the cafeteria, the dining thing, and I worked, and I had put me a coat on layaway at Cato's, and then I had, you know how you come up, we walk sometime uptown and I pay on it, you know,
Mhm.
paid on it by the week, they let you do that if you were a college student and probably anything else, and I remember coming up to pay. I wasn't really thinking about the boycott. I was trying not to lose my money on the coat I had in the layaway. And I remember coming uptown and there were people standing around the street and somebody hollered out and said, "You can't go in that store. We are boycotting." So I came back to school. We came on back to school and I called. And they told me I could get a money order and send for it. That's what I remember about it. I remember it was either 68 or 69, somewhere along there. That they had I know they had a boycott, like I said, because I had you know that in there. And after then, we didn't come uptown for a while. We just stayed on campus.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed on campus. The only other time I can remember where as a student that I came in, a group of students got together and we're gonna go to the First Black Baptist Church to I don't know, maybe it was a morning service. I'm not quite sure how they got down there, and they went, and I distinctly remember this. I think I didn't go because my parents had told me, my grandpa had told me, "We sending you to school to get an education. Don't you get up there and get involved in that kind of stuff." So I didn't come, but a group of kids got together and came. And I remember, I don't know who gave them this name, but they weren't allowed in the church. They were called the Black Invaders. We weren't allowed to participate in the ceremony at the First Baptist Church. And that was like somewhere between 68 and 70 or 71. Because I married in 72, so it wasn't then, it was before then, it was before I got married. And this is my personal thing, I remember wondering why we couldn't go when, you know, Mississippi State at that time, and still is, was like a little United Nation. They had all kind of students. Mm-hmm. And we had seen some Nigerians and all of those go in there, you know, and this is my take on it. They were just as dark as we were, and they were able to take part in the ceremony. But we were students, and we were from Mississippi, most of us had been in Mississippi all our lives, and we were some of the generation that were the first people to go to college, and we just decided if the other nationality, you know, some of the Indians were going, and they were just as dark as we were, you know, and we thought, well, why can't we go, you know? But anyway, they dubbed us the Black Invaders, and like I said, I didn't personally go, but they didn't let them take it in, so we didn't try that anymore.
And this was at a Baptist church in town or on campus?
This was uptown. Oh, we could go to the BTU and all of those on campus. This was uptown at First Baptist Church.
First Baptist Church.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And just so I understand this right,
Mm-hmm.
the people at the First Baptist
Uh-huh.
Church wouldn't let any
Wouldn't
students.
let the students, the black student that came at that time, they wouldn't let us, they wouldn't let them take part in the ceremony. Now that's my understanding. I know they came back to campus and, we, you know, we talked about it. Cause we were, a group of us were social workers.
So was that like an organized effort to like sort of,
That was,
Okay.
like I said, I was not a personal
Right, yeah.
part of it, but it was an organized effort to go to the services at the First Baptist Church. And I probably, I can say that now because I'm retired, don't have a business anymore, so I guess it'll be too bad. But that actually happened,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they didn't let us in. And we didn't try that anymore, but we were welcome at all the others, Griffin, Second Baptist, Ebenezer, First Christ Holiness. As a matter of fact, Second Baptist would send a van out there, you know, to pick us up. And, so there were, you know, there were some churches that we opened. I don't know about the Methodists, any of those, I don't know about those. But this was just, one incident I remember that was at the church. I don't remember who the pastor was at the time. But later, when our daughter graduated in 1997, they had the countywide baccalaureate services. And from that Sunday morning to 1997, that was 1968, 7, I had not set foot in that Baptist church, but I went to my daughter's graduate baccalaureate thing.
How did that feel? Any different? The same?
Yeah, I still remember that. That's why I brought it up, because that was the first time I set foot in, and I had said I was not gonna go in that church because you know, some things stick in your mind over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And everything, but from 1968, 69, I had gone to 1997. They had the baccalaureate there, and I was not gonna miss my child's baccalaureate service,
Right.
so I went there then. That was my experience as a student. But now and I don't want to take a lot from my husband. One of the big things in working in the cafeteria, that right down there,
On campus?
yeah, on campus. At that time, it was not a lot of restaurants in Stockton.
Mm-hmm.
And on Sunday afternoons, we were very, very busy because all the churches would come and eat at the cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they would still be dressed and everything. And one or two of the big things were the desserts, minced meat pie. And I often wondered what was minced meat pie, but I found out about that. But it was on Sunday afternoon, it was a big eating place. We were extremely busy on Sunday afternoon because all the churches, especially the white churches, would all come to the cafeteria and buy lunch. Because it was the biggest place you could get a variety of food, you know, because there weren't any Captain D's, McDonald's, and.
Were you a cook or did you serve people?
No, I was just on the serving line.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't cook. They had other people that did that much better than I did. Now I could have, but I was on the serving line.
Do you have any memories from that, serving people?
Yeah, the minced meat pie. All the older ladies wanted the minced meat pie and the chest pie, and that seemed to be a favorite and everything. But you know, they had a whole assortment: potato pie, pecan pie, Mississippi mud pie and all of that, but the favorite was the chest pie and the mincemeat pie at that time. I know that my husband, but that was my experience as a student. He didn't go to school, I did. As a matter of fact, that's why I met him.
Where
I
did
was
you
a
all
student.
meet?
I was a student here, and we went to a part of a friend of a guy I got to know had a part, and he came and we started talking, and about 6, 8 months later out there we were engaged, and in '72, on September 24th, we got married, and we'll be married 44 years. We've been married 43. We'll be married 44 this coming September 24th.
Wow.
But I met him when I was a student here at State.
In 72?
Yes.
And so you had come back from Vietnam?
Yeah,
by
he
then?
come back.
Uh-huh.
And he was working at Brian's then.
And then I left Brian, came to
Shop, and that was
the
in
Jones
78.
shoe shop.
Okay.
That was in '78 when we bought it. I worked for the state for 30 years.
Doing social work?
Yeah, doing social work. Yeah, I graduated from the social work program here at Mississippi State finally in 1974. I played around a little bit.
So would you back up a little bit and tell us a little bit more about your time in the military, in the Air Force? About any memories you have from that, joining the Air Force?
Oh, I have no regrets about it. It was a good experience to me. I got to see things that I probably never would have seen before, and traveling. But the only thing about it, trying to sleep at night. It's hard to sleep at night in Vietnam. You hear everything exploding around you. And if you can get a good night's sleep, you better take it whenever you can. But it was, I don't know.
He was kind of jumpy, and
You would too when
he's
you was born.
he is still very sensitive to sound.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very sensitive to smell, but he is very sensitive. I mean, the back of my earring fell on the floor, and he said, "I heard something fall." I said, I don't know what it was. And then later on, I said, "I lost my A family."
No, I don't know. I
He's
found it.
very sensitive, still sensitive to sound.
Oh, my sinus bothering me. That's all that is.
He's very sensitive to sound, still is.
You know.
Was there a different relationship, amongst your peers out there as opposed to when
I
you were
wasn't.
here?
I wasn't talking about in the military.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't involved in bringing this. Actually,
He
well,
didn't come back.
I wasn't in combat.
He just worked a regular job.
I wasn't. I
Thank
wasn't fighting.
goodness he wasn't in combat.
Did you have any, to build on that, did you have any different, since you all had been traveling, and you all had been in different parts of the world than maybe people in Starkville have been in, did you have any different experiences with them, or were the relationships any different because of that?
Not really. No. Just you might have to get how the Vietnamese speak sometime. You know.
And you talk about going downtown, what your officer had told you not to do.
Yeah. There's certain places you didn't go in Vietnam. You stay away from them places.
And even small children.
And
You know.
but the only thing that hurt me somebody, and it was in December, put up some Christmas lights, and we almost got killed.
Yeah.
See them rockets come in, they see them lights, they coming in. I say in a war zone, what you gonna be celebrating a Christmas for? You better be trying to stay alive. But that's,
Yeah.
I was glad to get out of there.
So even though you weren't in combat, you still had to deal with all of the
Oh yeah.
side effects.
Right, the side of it. And some nights you couldn't sleep. That's how a lot of the guys come back. Their heads messed up. They don't get enough rest.
That gives you kind of a understanding of that PSTD.
Mhm.
You know, that's why I know we can understand it. He can understand it because they, you know, it was noisy over there with all the
Bomb.
bombs and all that. Mhm.
Do you keep in touch with anybody that you served in the Air Force with at that time?
Not too many of them. It's some of them still here in the reserve that came back. Yeah, they still in the reserve.
When you did come back and you had all of the stuff that you had been through and all of this turmoil that you had been through,
Mhm.
did that put in perspective any of the things that were going on here that you missed that maybe you had to catch up on or that your family was telling you about? Did it just seem not so much a big deal, or did it seem like, a different kind of?
It was a plane. We had a plane loaded with GIs when we left Vietnam, and when we got to where we come from, we got in. I'm trying to think that we go to Seattle or where. But anyway, when we landed in the United States, all of them got off and kissed the ground. I still get tear-eyed.
Look at you just So, all of the stuff that had been going on while you were gone, the boycotts, integration, did people tell you about that when you got back?
Oh yeah, they really welcomed us home now.
Yeah.
They welcomed us. All the boycott. They let us know what was going on. But
do you have any memories of that? Your family being involved in any of that?
I don't think not many of my family members was involved in that.
No.
Because my dad had a business and he was trying to take care of the business. So he didn't want the other children to get involved.
I remember students coming from state bringing shoes to children's shoe shop, and he didn't have separate facility, like the whites on one side and blacks. He didn't have it. It was just open.
Was that different from other shops?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was different from others.
Would you say you
They had
mixed clientele?
you're right.
Yeah, he had an open client, it was just open. You just sat for a available seat, first come, first served.
So not just
Anywhere when you walk.
shop, or not just white people came to your shop?
No.
All kinds of people.
No, all.
As a matter of fact,
Huh?
I think because Mr. Jones was selling, I remember he was selling those. This is what I call coming from Killmonger country. Those expensive cowboy boots, and the people that bought those were the college professors and the people in animal husbandry, and all of that. And when I would go and get tips put on the heel of my shoes and everything, it would be people there getting full and half-soled shoes, and this would be boots and everything. And it would be mostly white, but there were a lot of all the students I know, black and white, went there to have things done. But I don't know. You correct me. Mr. Jones didn't participate in the boycott, if I remember.
Right. Well, so you say.
He did, because the way I understand it. Now you correct me. Most of the majority, not all, the majority of his clientele was white anyway. And I do remember, and I'll tell you the reason I remember that, and I don't want to take over the conversation, but I've had a lot of experience with, the reason I know, one of the and I won't name anybody because I don't want to put anybody on the spot. I've done enough of that already. I was, when I graduated in social work, you can imagine in 1974, there weren't too many jobs for an African American that was in social work. There just weren't too many. And some of the local community action agencies and everything, that were around, and I applied several times, and I remember telling my college advisor, I said, I didn't get the courtesy of an interview, not a single thing. So I finally got in touch with someone, and by that time I was married to Wesley, and I was actually told that your family didn't participate in the boycott. We are not going to consider your application.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Not because you participated, but because you didn't participate.
Because my family didn't participate. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And I applied several times, and I never, so finally I applied at it's Department of Human Service now, it was the old welfare department, I applied there. And I'm not, I soon got over it because I worked there for 30 years and everything, but I never got an interview, we regret you don't qualify for this. I never got any type of communication.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Do you regret, looking back now, not participating?
I don't know. No, I know they don't regret, and I don't regret them not, because of the way I understand it now, the majority of his family's business was white anyway.
Right.
And it would have hurt him more than the boycott itself, because the majority of his business was not African American anyway. Now there was a lot of it, but the majority of his business, this is where I understand from being in it 43 years, the majority of his was white anyway. So it would have really hurt him more, because the way I understand it, the African American business would not have kept him going anyway. That's my take on it.
That's true.
That's my take on it. So it would have just devastated him.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And my father was, when people would come in, they say, "Where do we sit?" He said, "Anywhere you want to sit," because he had enough chairs. See, they had some of the blacks had a place where the white go in the front and go in the back, but he never did. He put chairs there, so that's the chairs. You pick one you want.
There were a few shoe stores in Circle at the same time that your
Right.
father's store. I think we, both black and white owned. We knew about Evans Shoe Shop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
John.
right.
And there were other stores that I can't remember the names of.
Cleveland was one of the stores.
Cleveland.
It was
Cleveland.
not. It was owned by a white family, but just about everybody I know, black, had an account at Cleveland Shoe Store. I mean, they didn't. I mean, they the way I took it, they were in the business of selling shoes,
Yeah.
and they would get the latest styles of women's shoes. Not just the regular plain old everyday. They'd have the nice dress shoes and everything. And everybody that I know, everybody that I was associated with after I got it, got part of the family, second man, everybody had an account at Cleveland Shoe Store, because he had it set up that way. You could pay, you pay on it, and everybody I know had an account.
Do you think there was something about shoe stores versus other stores that
Yeah.
was more democratic or was more accepting of people?
Well, Mr.
Wesley
Cleveland,
can tell you, the way I understand it,
Mr. Cleveland came from somewhere. He was.
I can't remember but I'm sure some of the other people have told you, Stark was pretty self-contained at one time. We had our own barber shop, a shoe shop, there was some black plumbers, black contractors, black cafes, we call them.
Yeah.
And like you said, that Mr. Ferdinand Berry had a metal shop, tin shop. We pretty much, and there was a black service station. Where we get gas. We had, now, a lot of this was pretty much before I got in the family. But I remember reading all about it. It's all in that book. And we had our own service station. We had our own barber shop. We had our own restaurant. We had shoe repair. We had shoe shine. And we had quite a few. I think the only thing we didn't own really, but I don't remember any having a grocery store, but we had access to all the grocery stores. I mean, they were all, they were all nice and cordial to us. But there were quite a few businesses, that were owned by African Americans that started more than in my hometown in Kilmay.
Yeah, that's what we've been led to believe, that all of these business owners in town had something to do with organizing and getting people together to protest or implement things like that.
And a lot of the business started pretty much in Needmore, didn't it?
Right, what they call
Yeah,
needs.
tell us about Needmore.
I don't know, but what's
I know, I don't know a lot about it because
you talk to Charles every year.
We've called. Well, I've called him, but I think he might be busy.
Yeah,
He hasn't taken my call.
he stays busy. Yeah. We're glad you're getting us because it's been so long. We have to recall members. He has to recall and keep everything on his mind. Yeah, need more because there was.
that's mostly a lot of black. It was a black cafe over there, and Rosemary them had a cafe over there.
So when you say Starkville was self-contained or self-sufficient, you mean there was a lot of businesses owned by African Americans
Oh, yeah.
that you could not feel unwelcomed in.
No, right.
Did you ever try to go into other businesses and maybe feel not so welcome?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you feel like sharing that?
Well, it's certain places you didn't go.
Yeah.
Just didn't go. They wouldn't lie here now. That's just simple as that.
Yeah. And so you didn't go.
No.
Was that like something they stated outright or something
Oh,
everybody
they
just kind of knew?
you know it,
Yeah.
and you better not go in there.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go in there. Cause push it.
So Needmore was a neighborhood
Right.
that contained all of these. Well, not all of
They-
these, but many of these places.
Yeah, it was. In fact, I'm trying to see if anything still over there. I don't think it's none of the buildings still over there. I don't believe. I'm trying to remember. But it was restaurants over there.
What, if you can remember, what part of town was Needmore? Because the way Starkville is now, it seems like there's just a park and a school, but there aren't any, like, were there any clear defining boundaries of where Needmore was? Like if you were going to show it on a map.
I probably could show you somewhere on a map. I don't know now. I got to remember all this stuff. But let's see. Needmore. The train used to come through there. Through Needmore.
Did it stop?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And pick up freight and stuff. And then some of the railroad ties was still down there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the train was stopped.
Is that where you grew up in Needmore?
No,
No.
we grew up on Long Street.
Okay.
But yeah, Needmore, the train was stopped there until they stopped running over the years. I don't really remember when they stopped running though. I probably wasn't here at that time.
I was asking if he could tell us where Needmore was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like if you could point on a map.
Uh,
Oh,
Do you remember?
going from here,
yeah.
okay, Highway 12 where, the, CVS is,
Mm-hmm.
you pass it. It's the turn past, the break,
Oh, yeah.
where you?
Denny's? No.
Nah, well, Dennis, right across from Dennis, back that way, that area back there.
Mm.
What's the breakfast place?
Not Denny's.
Not Dennis, the one across the street, Hardee's, is it Hardee's?
There's a Hardee's over there.
Okay, Hardee's is in that area.
No.
You know, the street, well, they closed it off, because we used to come through there, but they closed it off. But it's back that way,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes back to, the, shopping center,
Mm-hmm.
the College Park,
College Station.
College Station,
Mhm.
yeah, it goes to that, all that from back there, back to Highway 12.
Okay.
That's where.
And that's where all these businesses, or some of these
Some of
businesses.
the,
Oh, right.
some of the.
And the
businesses.
train would run there too.
Right,
Oh, right.
yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, some of them railroad ties thing was down still in the ground over there.
Yeah, I think they.
They might be the
grown
moving.
old. When they went through and revitalized, Needmore,
Okay.
you know,
I
I
bet.
think it was part of the urban renewal. I'm not sure when that was done, maybe it was the 70s, but they cleaned up all the so-called shacks and stuff and redid a lot of people's houses.
Mm-hmm.
It was part of the urban renewal, cleaning up old dilapidated neighborhoods. Needmore was a part of that.
Do you think Needmore lost anything when that happened? Or do you think it improved it for the better?
I think it improved it.
I think it improved it, but I came in basically after they did it. I think they improved it because everybody's house got fixed up and
That's
they
right.
put that, little park there. It's nice. I think they improved it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they improved it. But it took away some of the old history, but it was buildings that nobody was keeping up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
The needs to say they were dilapidated and worn out and everything.
Well, I see you brought some things, some
Yeah.
clippings.
Oh,
Do you want to talk about those?
Oh, that's a picture
That's a picture
of
of the
shop with my father there.
Okay.
And,
No, I didn't intend to bring
This
that
is
one.
a postcard.
Right, here's some postcards made out of it.
How did somebody decide to use this as a postcard?
his daddy did that
My
years
daddy
ago,
did.
and we just been holding on to it.
Gosh, I don't know. Whatever.
And this is something to show that his daddy got into other things after he retired from the shop. We took over in '78. He set up West Main Arms house apartments on Long Street, West Main Arms, and it was Long Street, but years later he went before the Board of Aldermen and got the street changed to that.
Mm-hmm. So he did that himself.
Yeah, he set up the apartments for disabled and senior citizen on
Oh, okay.
it's down there on and then several years later, I can't remember. It hasn't been very long, cause he went before the Board of Aldermen and got it street
Got it
changed
changed.
from Long Street, from the Highway 82 back to Greensboro.
Mm-hmm.
That's E.H. Long
Yes, John.
Drive.
So, you said his dad
Yeah.
was involved in a lot of other stuff besides the shoe shop.
Right.
Yeah.
The apartments, he had those built,
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and those were for specifically for disabled
and senior citizens.
and senior citizens?
And he ran for Alderman unsuccessful and lost, and I think you probably read the other stuff, that was the only thing that he's ever really gotten into that he hadn't won, and I think that was a big blow to his ego. But he only lost by a few votes. I don't remember who his running mate was.
I forgot to.
It was like in the late 70s.
I was about to ask if you remembered when that was, but
Yeah.
late 70s?
Yeah, 'cause we had,
You ever consider running for Board of Alderman?
No.
no,
Not now.
No, he wasn't. He never been into politics. We never been. But now we exercise.
Did I show you the picture, my father?
Yeah, that we should.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, we all we make sure we vote. I work the polls, you know, down at the sports flex and I make sure he vote, 'cause before I started working the polls, we would go down together, and before I leave home in the morning to go to the polls, I tell him, don't you forget, we vote today, we vote today.
So you get to hand out the stickers and the
Yeah, right.
write people's names down?
Yeah. I do the coding to put the cards in the machine, which seems easy, but sometimes we have several codes, and then sometimes it's easy, you only have one code, but since we usually have 2 precincts down there, it's a little bit more involved.
What made you want to get involved in that sort of volunteer work?
Well, I had thought about it, not too seriously, about running for an alderman position, and then I changed my mind. You know,
When did you have that
after I retired.
reckoning?
After I retired from DHS after 30 years in 2004, I thought a little bit about it.
What made you want to run?
Just something I thought I might want to do. No particular reason, but I said, well, you know, I might try to. They said, well, are you sure you want to do that? I said, no, I don't think so. I went on after, and I got another job, and I worked 7 more years at another facility, and then I changed my mind. I said, I don't think I want to do that. It's just, and then I think it would have been some conflict between my state retirement and getting my Board of Alderman money. I think at the time, now I don't know, I don't know if they changed that, but at the time, I think what really changed my mind, at the time, you couldn't be retired from the state and work for the city and still get your, if I understood right, they would either take it out of your, whatever you got serving as the board, you couldn't get paid at the time. This was back, like I said, in you couldn't get paid for both. And I think that really discouraged me, because I had worked for the state 30 years. I think, and come to think of it, that's what really changed my mind. And I said, well, I'll just later on, and then I just started to do the next best thing. But I think they changed that. But at the time, that was the rule, you know. And I should have remembered, but you know, you can't remember everything. You don't be thinking about that. I remember when I got called for jury duty when I was working for the state, and the money that they paid me for jury duty, I had to turn it in. They subtracted it from my paycheck for the state. This was when I was working. I don't think they do that anymore, but they did it at the time. And I should have remembered that from that, but you know, you don't be thinking about it. So, yeah, that's what helped me change my mind.
Being a local businessman, I guess you're already sort of involved in the community that way. Were there other ways that you tried to be involved?
Yeah, he does. He's the OCTS. He's
Scholarship.
He's scholarship
We give
thing. He's part of that. He he's been a part of it since its inception, when it started back in, early. We have it biannually, and in 2017 will be its 20th year, which would be their 10th. But it biennial, so it will be 20 years in 2017. The OCTS scholarship thing, he's part of that.
We interviewed another man, well, two,
Yeah.
Mr. Bardwell
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
and
Charles.
Colonel Ware. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the chair of that right now. And he works on they have the Rest Haven Cemetery. It's not a strongly, but it's a pretty organ. He's on that board. He's treasurer of that.
What's this called?
Rest Haven Cemetery
Where's that?
out on in Bethel.
Ah.
It is Bethel.
Yeah.
Right off of 25.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your involvement in the OCTS? Just because other people that we've interviewed have been involved in that, or went to Henderson High School.
Well, we normally give away. It's depending on how much money we take in, because we try to give away all the money that we take in, and people we just have to go through the application and stuff and see who we're gonna get the most to.
It's all the county schools, and well, it's gonna be just start for high now, but it was all the county schools, all the local county schools, all the schools in our Duval County, OCTS group, historically black, and then the Star for High was involved, and they give scholarships. They got a roster of the criteria that's needed to get the scholarship, and they have a committee that sit down and go through them, and they award scholarships to. Of course, you have to apply now. You apply, and then they award. We do it on the off year too, but we really don't celebrate it until the biennial that comes up. We do that as part, and he's part of that. We work on that and everything.
And you select a student who's going to college.
Yeah.
Right.
As a matter of fact, you have to get the money actually goes to the college.
Right.
You can't say you enroll. You have to get something from the college to send in, and then they will send a check. I think y'all gave away about 7 or 8 last time, and they range anywhere from 500 to
it's up in the money, so
1,500.
something like that.
Do you feel like that's an appropriate legacy for the?
Yeah, for the
Right.
we think it is.
Yeah, a lot of the interviewees we've talked to have stressed and like you just did too, the importance of education.
Yeah, it's
You share
education is important today, tomorrow, and forever. I think that's the motto. I think it is. Yeah, right. And growing up, his dad stretches. He stresses, and I know all the from my knowledge, all the African American families stressed because it wasn't any question about whether you were finishing high school or not. It was just understood, and unless you were sick, you went to school, and if you played sick and say you were sick, you stayed in the house all day. Somebody made sure you didn't do anything that day. And I know in my family growing up, I was the oldest, and you were expected to finish high school and go to college. You had to get with your counselor and work it out because you didn't have a lot of money, and most of the colleges had work study programs, so you knew you were gonna have to do that. But we knew that, I don't know, like in Kilmont, Wesley lived in town. I mean, he lived right up there on Long Street, which is you walk, cause we used to walk we used to take the cab from Mississippi State and come, and then we lived on campus, most of us, and then when, most of the black students, I put it that way, and then when Brooksville Garden opened up over there on, right off Long Street, some of the town people were reluctant to leave their homes and things, even though they were probably substandard and everything. And there was a lot of nice electric apartments available in Brooksville Garden. So a lot of the African American college students moved there, and I was with a group. We moved there, and that's where we stayed. And a friend of mine that lives in South Carolina comes and visits, and pretty often, and she came last year, and I took her to see it. Oh, she was shocked, because, you know, have you ever been in Brooksville Garden?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
Okay, they put barricades where you can, you come in the same gate and go out the same gate and everything, but it was not like that when we were there.
They were new.
These are apartment buildings.
They were
Right.
new, nice, all electric. I mean, we were nice, cause some of my family bought they came and said, oh, Kathy, these are some nice apartments. They were nice. Now, they were nice. I lived out in the country, so, they were nice. And, but it's changed now, and we didn't, it wasn't, needs to say, it wasn't a high crime area and all of that and everything. But it was extremely nice, and we enjoyed living there. It was now later on, before we moved out and moved on campus, it got to be kind of noisy. Then they started. I don't know. It changed, and a lot of different people moving in, and it was beginning to get where students couldn't study. So most of us moved. I know I met my friend, my close college friend, and we moved back on campus because it was just getting too noisy. People be up walking the street all night, and
Do you remember when you moved to Brooksville Gardens?
Yeah, it was like 71. Cause Wes would walk over there to see me sometimes. Yeah, it was 71. It was 71.
And then you moved back on campus.
Yeah, moved back on campus. It changed the clientele, the people that live in that changed and everything.
If I could back up a minute and ask you about your time at Mary Holmes.
Yeah.
When you moved to
We were, I think I missed, it was a lot more in camaraderie. You felt more. When I came to Mississippi State in 1968, 3 years after Richard Holmes had been there, it was not a good year.
How so?
We had classes. I remember I had a class where the professor, when he got to my name, he just passed on. He actually
Just pretended that you weren't there?
I was invisible.
Oh.
He just passed on. And then we had advisors that would kind of screen, this is the way I took it, and tell us, we would show them what classes we had, and they would tell us, they would screen the professors that we probably should take classes on, because this person was known to be harsh and hard and everything. And I mean,
But you lived on campus.
yeah, I lived on campus. I lived in Rice over there. I lived in Rice. Before then, I lived in Rice first. Then, as it went on up, it was Herbert. I lived in Herbert Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rice and Herbert Hall, and everything. It was, and we were all. It was about. At the time I was here in '68, there were about 150 students here at Mississippi, African American, and about 50 of us lived on campus, I would say, and the rest of them were summer students that came from around, I guess, Starkville, West Point, Columbus, maybe. But I would say it was roughly 50. It was really more young men than it was ladies.
Did you ever feel, you know, being a woman and African American, unsafe or unsure about living on campus?
Not unsafe, just not a part of everything. You know, we mostly got together at the Y over there.
Mm-hmm.
That was mostly our meeting, and that was where that was where the hippies were the one, and the hippies and the African Americans got along. We really did. I mean, they were carefree and everything, and we got along real well with them. They didn't care about food, and we got along with them. And a few town people kind of took us in. I remember I tell Wes about this all the time, and I think about it because I narrowly escaped going to jail. I got to tell you about this. It was hair raising. Oh, I probably would have got a tongue lashing if not a whipping. We had gone to a party out in the county. I don't remember this person's name. Somebody knew this man that would let the college students come out and party. And we would go and play music and sing and dance and stuff and everything. And we were supposed to be studying for finals, and our group kept saying, "Come on, we better go back to campus. We got to do this and everything." So finally, we talked to drive and bring up, and on our way, I couldn't tell you where the house is. I don't remember where it was. I just remember it was back that way. And we were coming, and as we were leaving, the sheriff deputy in his car was going there. And I missed getting arrested, because some of the kids got arrested because they had beer. You know, and at the time, our Timber Hall was dry.
And so you just missed
Yeah.
going to jail.
Yeah, going to jail.
For partying.
Yeah, for partying. But there were so-called bootleggers. That's how we got the beer. Not that I like beer, I like champagne. I couldn't stand beer. I like champagne. And nobody liked me because I want champagne. Because champagne costs more than beer. And I drink on one all night, you know, because I wasn't a drinker. I learned in high school that I was predisposed to alcoholism.
Oh.
So my folks told me, you be careful, don't drink that stuff. So I listened, you know, I listened. But anyway, I tell Wes about that all the time. I tell him, well, I just miss going to, it would have been tough for me. Oh, I would have got it from my grandmother.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, if I had got arrested. She'd tell me again, I'll send you up there to go to school, not to get arrested. Because some of the people had to call their parents to get them out of it. They all got out of it. I don't know what the fine was. It wasn't very much. But anyway, a few of them got arrested, but they were mostly men. They weren't. I don't remember any ladies getting arrested. Most of the ladies was in the car with us when we came back. But that happened. That was kind of one of the highlights of, which wasn't very funny at the time.
So you didn't feel unwelcome, just didn't feel particularly welcome.
And now when I go to things like Jackson State, Alcorn, and all those, they have big banquets and stuff. all of that and everything, and they talk so fondly about what happened on campus, and they got this camaraderie and everything. And I I miss that. You don't, the the predominantly black colleges seem to have had more fun than we had when we were at Mississippi State. Cause when I go to their banquets, they have banquets just like we have OCTS. And I particularly love going to the one that Alcorn had, because it's at Grenade, and it's very, very nice. And they talk about all the things that they did and all the experiences they had, and they had fraternities and sororities and stuff. And at the time I was in the state, there were no African American fraternities and sororities. And you know how sororities are and fraternities. Somebody has to bring you in. And can you imagine? One thing I wanted to do, and I tell Wes about this all the time, I wanted to be an angel flight,
Can you explain what that is?
It was the girls wore the uniforms, the angel flights they had it here at State.
Okay.
And they wore the blue uniforms. I think they were Air Force. Angel flights is what they call them.
Okay.
And I really wanted to do that, but long story short, somebody white would have had to and I didn't know anybody, and I knew some people that were in it, but I knew that their credibility, it would have been more than they could stand to have brought me in, so I just dropped it. But I truly wanted to be an angel flight. That's one thing I wanted to do when I was at State, because I thought that the uniform was cute and everything, and it was just a little joint group, and they all had their little caps and the little uniforms and all. That's one thing I wanted to do, but wasn't able to do that.
So you had opportunities like that at Mary Holmes.
Yeah, they had one fraternity, Phi Beta Lambda. Phi Beta. They do that little walking dance, but that was a business, and I wasn't in business. I was in sociology at the time, and then when I came here, I got into social work, and social work they didn't have any. They got sorority. They got a group here now, but at the time we didn't have anything that we could be, to have any camaraderie. We didn't have anything, but they got it now, and we weren't. So we weren't. The only thing we had was the Black Voices. That was a singing group.
Were you a member of that?
No, I didn't sing that well. And I didn't play, but we had the Black Voices. And Afro American Plus.
That's what I was about to ask. Afro American Plus Club.
I was a part of that loosely. Yeah, Afro American Plus. I was part of that. I think all of the black students were, if not very actively, we were a part of that.
What kind of things did you do in the Plus Club?
That was one of the things we get together and talk about what classes we should take under what professors and what we should do. If there was a problem on campus, we would get and talk about it, and they helped to advise us about student money and loan, and how to do all that. They were kind of like I don't remember who our advisors were, but that's pretty much what they did. They helped us take care and learn our way around and how to do at Mississippi State.
Were they advising you on professors that might not be good to you because you were African American?
Right.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to clarify.
And
do you know of any instances when somebody suffered because somebody was being discriminated, a professor was discriminating?
Nobody but me when the professor didn't call on me. And there were similar other incidents, like don't get in this class because you're gonna automatically get flunked, you know. And of course, a lot of us had trouble too, because I when I came to Mississippi State, when I got my curriculum set up and everything, and I found out I had to have 12 hours of French. We just barely had English at
Yeah.
Montgomery County Vocational High School. A lot of the students at my school, at here, that other schools had 2 years of French. I had not had any. That's why I like that when they put all the schools on the same level back several years ago. I forgot what they call it.
Unifying.
Unified. And yeah, that was good because I can remember when I was growing up in Kilmichael, some of the kids' parents moved to Chicago and went to school up there. And I can remember them saying, some of the parents saying, they put my child back 2 grades because the school system up there was so advanced, you know, beyond what Kilmichael was and everything. And that happened with a lot of other schools. That's why I'm so glad that Montgomery County, Montgomery and Winona, because Winona school system has always been better than Kilmichael school system. They always had more to offer than we had. And I think we should have jumped and shouted when Winona decided, you know, to merge with us. Of course, I don't know they actually, I think the legislature decided, but either way, that was a good thing. It should have happened 50 years ago, you know, and everything. But Wesley had some of the same experience too, you know. I'm sure somebody else have told you about that. The black schools got all the hand-me-down from the white schools.
Mr. Ware mentioned that
Yeah.
Right,
you
the
guys
books.
were the Tigers. Is that
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
mascot? But you had the same color uniforms in your football team because you got the football equipment from Starkville High School,
Yeah,
which were
right,
the Yellow
right.
Jackets.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
But when they integrated, they took the gray. The band took the gray
Uniform.
uniforms, and it was about. I was on the school board then. They finally changed and got the same uniform that the football team had. They didn't have that at first and everything, but they finally did. And we didn't have a football team at Montgomery County. We had a basketball team, but we didn't have a football team. And we would get the books, and you know, sometimes they'd write in them, draw in them, you know, and write not so nice stuff in them. But that's what we got. My folks would say, well, we got the hand-me-down, the same equipment. And when they built a new school in 1960, when we went to the new school, they put all these nice labs. We had a nice lab, but guess what? We didn't have any equipment. No test tubes, no nothing. But it was we had a nice lab in the high school for chemistry. But oh God, the little things you have to do testing with.
The little test tube?
Test tubes and
Bunsen burner?
Bunsen burner, that's the word. We didn't have any of that. We had a lab with no equipment. Can you believe that? I don't know how theirs was. But they had built a big, nice, consolidated school. It was nice. The building was nice. And I don't know about them, but we could not walk on our gym floor with shoes. It had to be tennis shoes or your socks.
Because you were afraid to scuff it up? Or?
No, it was pretty and shiny, and they wanted to stay that way. We were so glad to have it, I think. Because, I mean, it actually shined, like this table, it actually shined. And, I mean, you actually got in trouble if you walked on the floor in your shoes. You sure did. We couldn't step on that new gym floor. Sure did. Sure did.
Mr. Jones, did you have any, would you all, use the equipment that you had, or did you find other ways to make up for what you didn't have, like with the lab equipment, or was it the same at Henderson High?
I think it was a little bit better than that. We had some lab stuff, I know that, but it wasn't up to date. We got the same books that they had, the white folks had, but it was just a struggle, just trying to.
Yeah.
Didn't you all get some equipment from
From-
some states sometime? From the old.
Oh well, we got old football equipment and shoes and stuff from Mississippi State.
Oh, yeah.
Sure did.
Were they maroon?
No. Just old black, high top, spikes.
You play football?
Yeah, I play football.
Did you play any other sports?
No.
Okay. I see you have another, newspaper article here.
No,
Did you
that's
share that?
that was just something I had a while.
Oh, one of the.
That's me sitting up in the chair up there.
That she.
I
This is from, let's see what year, 1998.
Lady from WCBI. I can't think of her name right now.
Is she there now?
No. She
Oh
gone.
no! I know who you're talking about. God.
Anyway, she came and did that article on him.
What was her name?
She calls it Soulful Traditions. What newspaper is this in?
That's supposed to be.
Oh, this is the Dispatch.
Yeah, Columbus Dispatch.
Commercial Dispatch, yeah. What kind of things did they say about you in the story? Do you remember? Like, why would they have a shoe store in Starkville, Mississippi?
I just kept that. I forgot what I might have. I don't even think I got all of that. I just. But this is a picture.
She showed you.
I sold that. I saw you saw.
Pass that to
Oh,
me.
okay.
She was just doing an article on some of the black businesses in the.
Oh, I know what happened. She got in the stand and I shined the shoes. She was with WCBI. Michelle.
Michelle Lowe.
Oh, okay.
We used to be with.
Michelle Lowe. That's her name.
She come in. She said, "I want my boot shine." I said, "Get up and stand." She got up there.
made her
This
sing
is
for her
all.
boots?
This is all it was. She
No.
just made that look.
But no, that's what that was. I just had to think a few minutes.
So, being in business for so long, must have been something you enjoyed. Is it
Oh,
something
yeah.
you were proud of to bring to
Oh yeah. Well,
and keep alive, as the
yeah.
article said?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Till I got to where I couldn't stand it.
Ready for retirement, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
You know,
I can tell you, the shoes, the quality of the shoes now, mostly plastic, and most of the shoes are set in a mold now, and you can't. And it's that stuff is fiberglass.
plastic, just kind of like
And
plastic.
you can't, thread and glue hold leather. It won't hold plastic, and it won't hold fiber. Fiberglass crush just like breadcrumbs. I know I had some shoes that I bought, and they had the fiberglass heel. I didn't know that's what it was at the time. Now it's very easy walking, suede top and everything. And I set them in the closet and didn't wear them for a while. Took them out, and as I walked, I looked, black stuff was on the shoes. The soles were actually falling. I mean, literally falling apart.
So the quality of shoes
The quality is not good.
has gone down.
They do that cheap stuff, and you can try to glue it. It won't stay very long, and a lot of people you know, once they pay for something, they get it glued, they think it's gonna stay. And when it don't stay, they run, my husband would tell them, now, this is not gonna stay because the material is not the type that will hold glue and everything. And you know, we got a lot of that, and it was beginning to get where, you know, it was stuff you couldn't fix, and people were used to us fixing stuff, but you know, the quality of the shoes were just so bad that you really couldn't fix it.
Everything coming out of China.
And it's just low quality, low grade material, just very low grade. I mean, and some of them are real nice shoes, the top, but the soles are made out of nothing, you know.
Yeah.
Like I got a nice, I still sandals. The nice top got the cute little leather threading across it. The heels are actually rubber.
Oh, and that's not good.
No, but it's holding so far. But once that tear loose, well, I'm going to throw them away, because like I told you, you can't put thread, you can't put glue in those mold type heels. You know, it won't hold. And that was the kind of quality of stuff we were getting in, stuff that cannot be repaired. Not really, not the old traditional way.
You just throw away stuff.
You just throw away stuff.
Maybe it'll turn around after a while.
We hope so.
Yeah, maybe so. Quality over quantity.
Right.
Right. But you know, you still, and even some of the boots, you know, the nice boots have those soles on them, and they're just crumbling. And you know, the tops are still nice, you know, but once the sole and the heel go on, you know, you can't. You know, you got the nice tops and no bottom. we actually had some boots that the sole heels crumble on.
Well, that's polyurethane.
Yeah,
That's so.
polyurethane.
That's the soles they put on now, and once you start walking, it start crumbling up and just fall, and you can look back behind and you see it.
I mean, they actually crumble. They're like my shoes crumble. I end up having to throw them away. Thank goodness I had got them at a discount place. Yeah. But they lasted for several years. But you can't. I guess I should have put them in the freezer or something. You know, I guess that might have helped.
So you donated some equipment from that shop, right, when you retired?
We put some in the Heritage Museum, and then we had a lot of shoes left over. We gave some to the Salvation Army and some to Palmer Home. Some stuff we didn't sell. We divided up. We gave half to Palmer Home and half to the Salvation Army.
And so you had shoes and you had like repair equipment.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I still have some.
We still got some stuff in storage.
Yeah. You have
Yeah.
plans for it?
Oh,
Yeah,
what,
we
to sell it?
our son
Sell
will
it.
be helping us try to sell some of it. There are still, he lives in Louisiana, and there are still some old people there that still got some shoe shops. So he's trying to negotiate to see if we can get rid of it. But, you know, I wanted to leave it in the shop and let the people that bought it do it on eBay, and my husband paid so much money for it, he didn't want to do that. So it's over there in storage. Been in storage for 2 years.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned.
But we gave some of the oldest material to the Heritage Museum. And that shoe that was out front,
The
that was
sign.
what Mr. Ferdinand Berry made. The Tin Man, what we call it.
Oh,
He made that.
the man who had the
Tin,
store your father worked in?
yeah, that he had a place by. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He made that shoe that's in the Heritage Museum.
Do you know how old that sign is?
I don't know how old it is, but
But it's
he also made a steeple on top of our church, a Second Baptist church and
He
stuff.
The hand.
They pointed to the
Right,
sky.
The hand that pointed to the sky. He made that too. On Second Baptist Church on Yates Street, down from the health department. He made
Let's look
that.
for that.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked talked about, let's see, we talked about school,
Mhm.
both your high school
Mhm.
and your colleges,
Mhm.
and we've talked about Vietnam briefly,
Mhm.
and we've talked about working and living in Starkville, and the quality of shoes.
Mhm.
What else is there to talk about?
You know, I tell what's all the time. I stayed in between the time I wasn't here in school at state, I was in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Too cold. Oh, it's so cold. You know, and I tell everybody, I never did get warm.
Mm-hmm.
I never was warm. And then when they call it the Hawk, oh, it was just so cold. I spent one winter up there, and I said, but I've been here since we married in '72, and I've been here since then, and I don't know.
What
I-
year was it that you were in Chicago?
Summer. Let me kind of back up a little bit. In the summertime, when school was out, I would go and work during the summer.
Did you have family in Chicago?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
countless number of people from Wynona and Killmarket. That's where we left and killed. It wasn't anything to do in Killmarket. You either had to be worked in somebody's house, be a beautician, and you say a mortician,
Mm-hmm.
or you worked in Wynona Grenade at one of the factories.
Mm.
None of the above did I want to do. So I had cousin, auntie in Chicago, St. Louis, New York, and all of them, California. But my closest relatives were in Chicago, so I went. The first year I went was when I had graduated from high school. Then I came and went to Mary Holmes, and then that summer, Mary Holmes had this program where you work for CDGM, Community Action Aid, Community Action. It was CDGM, that's what I remember. And we worked for Head Start centers down on the coast.
Was it through Mary Holmes?
Through Mary Holmes. I worked in a place not too far from Ocean Spring, Wiggin, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Not too far from Moss Point, or between Moss Point. Because I remember we used to go to this club where this football player, I don't remember the name was, he had a club called the Kickoff. He was a football player, he had a club called the Kickoff. We worked down there. And then during the other, after I graduated from Mary Holmes, I went to Chicago and stayed all the summer until I came back in school in '68. And then after I went to school a year, Mississippi State, it was so rough. I spent the next year in Chicago.
So you spread it out.
Yeah, that's why it took me so long to get out of school from '68 to '74, you know. But anyway, and I went a few semesters, and then I'd go back to Chicago. I worked in factories, and I made more than my relatives in Killmarket were making and everything, and it was good money. But then I decided, working on the similar lines, I worked at, you too young, Zenith TV.
Zenith?
Zenith.
Yeah, I recognize that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the first TV we had.
Oh.
And I could work on
You
it.
bought it with your.
Yeah, I could
son.
work on it because I worked on the assembly line in Zenith. And we made good money and everything, but you had to keep up with those lines, and everything. And I did it for, about six months. And then I decided that wasn't what I wanted to do, so I came back and went to school a while, and then by that time I had met Wesley. And then I decided, I said, oh shoot, I'm gonna go back and make me some more money. And I had started dating him. He came up there and got me, and I've been here ever since. Yeah.
Did you like Chicago? Or did you want to come back? Was it too cold?
He just came up there because I was there.
No, I didn't
And
like
I've
it.
been here, and I've been here ever since. He brought me back, and I stayed at his mother's house till we got married, cause I think he thought I was gonna go back to the, and I've been here ever since. Yeah. And I went back to school, and I was married when I went back and finally finished and got my degree. I had to go an entire summer to get all those 12 hours of French that I had to take. And I cannot speak a word of it. I'll be honest, I just memorized it.
Just had to do
Because
it.
my professor, Kathy, all that's keeping you here is that French. And you're gonna have to take it. So I took both summer sessions. First session I had third semester French, and the second I had the fourth. And I passed it with a C, and it was like an A to me. I couldn't care, I just wanted to get out of it. And I finally graduated December of '74, but at the time they didn't have fall graduate, you know. I didn't get my degree until May of '75, because they just had summer. They didn't have all the different ones like they have now.
Yeah.
So I finally got out by that time.
But it was that French.
Yeah, it was the French that kept me, you know. I didn't understand it. You know, I took it because my friends were taking it. In hindsight, I wish I had taken Spanish, because it would have been more use to me. Because when I was in Chicago and worked at Zenith, I knew a lot of Spanish-speaking people. And, you know, now, and when I was working at DHS, I needed it because I ran into, you know, a lot of Spanish-speaking people. But I just took French because my friends were taking it. But I actually should have taken Spanish. And now that I've looked at somebody, it probably been easy to learn the Spanish, the French anyway. Oh, I can't say bonjour, bonsoir.
It sounds like you both had a lot of different jobs
Yeah.
throughout your
Yeah,
life.
yeah. I did most
learning
of the
different
factory
skills.
work, you know, and he worked mostly. He did for his dad and stuff, but I did most of the factory work, and I soon decided that wasn't what I wanted to do. Yeah. But he did most of his at his shop, and I worked, like I said, I did 37 years as a social worker.
Yeah.
With just an entry level degree, I worked my way through it.
That's great. I wish it was like that now.
Yeah, and I worked through him, through his encouragement. They had an opening on the school board, and his father encouraged me to. Mr. Jones said, he asked Weston to do it, and Weston, no, I don't want to do it. I asked my wife, and I served on the Stafford School Board for 17 years.
Well, do you remember the
1978 through 2004.
Did you see anything that you got to decide on whether or not it should be a certain way while you were on the school board?
Any
momentous decisions you got to be a part of?
Yeah, we did quite a few. When they did the expansion over on the hill. We were a part of that, and they changed the uniform from the gray to match the football team. You know, we did the stadium, the football stadium. We did that. I was a part of that. When they did some erection on one of the buildings, my name is on it.
Oh. Which one?
On the hill over there. And then in 2002, when my son graduated, I was president of the school board. My name is on his diploma. Yeah, my name
That's
is
so
on.
special.
Yeah, my name is on his diploma.
Wow. Well, a question we like to ask a lot of interviewees is, we've talked a lot about how things have changed over the years. Do you think that where we are now, things still need to change, or, things have changed for the better? What do you think that, looking back, where we are right now in terms of business relations or school?
One of the things my husband and I talked about is the seem like the drive, the motivation to go to school and be productive, that was pushed from our families, you
Right,
know.
that's right.
You know, they told us, you know, the only way you gonna make it in this world is get an education. And my uncle always told me an education was something that nobody can take away from you. And I remember that, and I told my kids that. And I don't know, and I think we didn't, we kind of feared our parents, but we weren't really scared of it. You know, they would tell us what not to do, and if you did it, the consequences. I know one of the things that my folks would tell me said, if you ever get arrested, don't call me, because I'm not going to spend no money getting you out of jail. Of course, I think deep down I knew they would get me out, but the thought of it scared me so much, I made it my business to try not to get arrested, you know. And the idea of arrested, I know it seems that it doesn't bother the kids now to get arrested and everything, you know. I think if I ever got arrested, I would be terrified, even to this day. I've got a few speeding tickets because I'm kind of heavy on the feet, but I've never been arrested, and you know, and it doesn't seem to, and it bothers me, and I thought to see that so many of us always getting arrested for something. That bothers me because that wasn't, you know, the way we were brought up. We were taught to stay away from trouble. And we weren't better than anybody else, but, you know, we didn't knowingly associate with people that were that stayed in trouble. We were told, you be friends with people that can help you, not people that could tear you down. And we kind of did that. If I got around a group that I thought that didn't have my interest, I never did say I'm not going to be with you anymore. I just kind of pulled away and got in another group. And I don't know. Things have changed so much. I wonder if, now this is my own personal opinion, I wonder if we still in the United States.
What do you mean?
Well, everything politically changed. You can say anything, you know, and the idea that, you know, the way people can be so wrong but have still so many followers, you know, and everything. You can be so wrong. And, you know, you can bring up anything. Somebody can say, you know somebody murdered somebody. That's just for them. But you can get an expert that said he didn't on the other side, and the expert on this say they didn't. And then they get all them experts together and get it so twisted that person end up not being guilty of nothing. And you know that they're guilty of something. You know, when I was growing up, I don't remember that happening. Either you were guilty or you were innocent. It was just, to me, it was just that black and white. You know, but nothing to me is black and white anymore. I mean, you either innocent or you guilty. And it's who can afford to have the more experts that can prove how not guilty you are. That's the way things are. Things are just so different than when I grew up in the 60s and the 70s and even the 80s. You know, things are just different. You know.
Do you want to add anything to that, Mr. Jones?
She about covered it all
I
now.
got to take another break. I took a water pill and I have to. I'm sorry. I think
Well, we've been here for about an hour and a half, a little bit more than that.
Uh-huh.
So if you'd like to add anything else, we can.
I don't.
Any other questions you have?
Well, Well, she was talking about the drive and motivation for education. Do you think that that has changed now?
I think so. I really do. And, but you know, my problem is when we was coming up, when the sun go down, we was in the house. We were not in the street.
Right.
But now kids are running loose in the street at night. The parents don't know where they are. That's how so many problems in the streets now.
So a different dynamic with
Right.
between parents and children.
That's right. My dad would say, don't let dog catch you. We'll be in the house when we get, because we know what we're going to get when we got home. But now they just let them run loose. And it's, you know, I don't understand that. And then as soon as a child get in trouble, they holler, that my baby didn't do this. Well, if he was at home, he couldn't have did it. Put a TV in there and let him watch TV. There's too many children out at night.
Well, I was just saying we've been here
Yeah.
for about an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh, heavens.
So
As you can tell, I'm a big talker.
we've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've
But my
enjoyed it.
husband is just like E.F. Hutton when he speaks.
Yeah.
You know about E.F. Hutton, though.
Mm-mm.
No, you too old. You too young. E.F.
That
Hutton.
sounds familiar with that.
It's a, if E.F. Hutton speaks and everybody else listen. That was one of the old.
I'll look it up.
E.F. Hutton.